Hi there, wonderful awakening beings and spiritual souls. Jo Rose of JoRose.com, numerologist and energy forecaster. In this video, I'm sharing with you the numerology forecast for November 2023. But before I do, let's recap what 2023 has in store for us. It's a 7 energy. How do we know this? Come on, everybody, you know the calculation now. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3 equals 7. This whole year has been about faith, trust, intuition, reflection, the inner work, alone time. Talking of alone time, let me share this. You might think being alone makes you lonely, but that's not entirely true. Being surrounded by the wrong people is the loneliest place in the world. Before you diagnose yourself as an unhappy person, first be sure that you are not simply surrounded by negative people constantly trying to bring you down to their level. Stop letting people who do so little for you control so much of your mind, feelings, and emotions. Let's continue. 7 is about prayer, praying, meditation. Prayer is about asking, and meditation is about listening so you can receive the answers. 7 is a spiritual, contemplative. It's the number of studying, analysing, and researching. Connected to the 7 is the scholar, the philosopher, the analyst, technicians, seekers of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. 7 was Pythagoras' favourite energy, and I'm not surprised because those are literally traits of Pythagoras. The flip side of the 7 is it can be secretive, cynical, skeptical, deceitful, defensive, mistrusting, distrusting, aloof, removed, woeful, eccentric, hostile, arrogant, and detached. The lesson I'm suggesting this month, based around the 7 energy, is to ask yourself, am I growing spiritually? And who am I really serving? Because if you're not serving yourself, you are letting everybody else down. To know more about the 7 energy, I created a video, as you know, Numerology 2023. Go check it out. The link is in the description below. In September, I said to you, we get a double whammy every year. This year, we got a double whammy of the 7. 7 month, 7 year. This is the power charge of the 7. The 7 hasn't gone. We have it to the end of the year, but it will start to deplete as we move forward. October, I said we have a taster for the following year. October's an 8 and 2024 is an 8. Who has the power? And are you sovereign to you? What I like about these 2 months, each year, November and December, is they give us a test drive. Whether that is tying up loose ends for this year's vibrations or setting the stage for next year. We get to go through these 2 numbers. In this year's case, it will be 9 and a 1 twice. So we can go through it, we can audit what worked, what didn't work, and then we can repeat it quite swiftly in the new year. So before we move into November's energy, I want to sow a seed. Please nurture and flow with it. We were never taught this at school, but I think it would have been valuable if we were. You are a soul having a human experience, and it's not about a human growing into the soul. There is a conflict here. As you have grown from baby to toddler to child through teenager with the ego and the soul. Ego seeks to serve itself. Soul seeks to serve others. Ego seeks outward recognition. Soul seeks inner authenticity. Ego sees life as a competition. Soul sees life as a gift. Ego seeks to preserve itself. Soul seeks to preserve others. Ego looks outwards. Soul looks inwards. Ego feels lack, soul feels abundance. Ego is mortal, soul is eternal. Ego is drawn to lust, soul is drawn to love. Ego seeks wisdom, soul is wisdom. Ego enjoys the prize, soul enjoys the journey. Ego is cause to pain, soul is cause of healing. May your intuition speak louder than your ego. At the beginning of the year, I said this year was about you. No more self-abandonment. The real abandonment wound came when you abandoned yourself because you thought you needed to be different in order to be loved. When you are your true, authentic self, the love you will have for yourself will attract that from others. Moving on to November. November is the 11th month. 11 is a master number. We do not reduce this. So 11 plus 7 of the universal year is 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. This month we are working on the 9. The 9 is about gratitude, generosity, letting go, decluttering, relationships, volunteering, being charitable. It's about faith, patience, compassion, consciousness, detachment, releasing, concluding, humility, forgiveness, transformation. The flip side of the 9 energy is it can be aloof, deceitful, deceptive, false, a preacher, erratic, fanatical, a liar, unforgiving, unstable, resentful, and skeptical. Let's take a look at some of these traits. Gratitude. Gratitude is when memory is stored in the heart and not the mind. Gratitude is being mindful of what you have and not what you don't have. The more you realize and are grateful for what you have, the more abundant you become. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. Generosity. Give freely without expectation. Being generous is when you expect nothing in return. With what's been going on in the world over the last few years, it can be quite a challenge to be generous without depleting the self. Giving comes from a belief of abundance. So give in your own way that creates a win-win for both yourself, the giver, and the receiver. Giving doesn't have to be money or new gifts. It can be your time, your knowledge, a good deed, a meal, a cake when you're next baking for your neighbour, friend or loved one, kind words, or a hug when needed. 9 is about your environment, whether that's out in nature or where you live. 9 is about letting go of what no longer serves you. So make your home uplifting and healing. Let go of clutter. Now would be a great time to go through your cupboards, your closet, your loft, your cellar, your garage, and pass on what no longer serves you. If it can make you some money, then sell it. If it's still good, put it in charity. And if really it's chipped, broken, or past its sell-by date, it's time for it to be in the tip. I've been letting go of some things recently, and I've met some really interesting people in the process. Each time I part with something is really uplifting, not just because it gives me the space, but when I know what it's going on to and how appreciative they are, it's uplifting. 9 can be intolerant. So look at your relationships. Why might you be intolerant? They say you become by the people you surround yourself by. So when you meet up with these people, do you feel light and bright, uplifted, elevated? Or do you feel drained, depleted, and in dread? Spend time with those that uplift your soul. You know my saying, it's your life, spelled L-Y-F-E. Love yourself first every day. Loving yourself sets you up to be in the right frame of mind, in the right place, or to deal with it in a calm and good manner. One that doesn't drain you. Doing things for others can bring gratitude, not just to the person that is receiving, but you, the giver. Where can you volunteer your time? In a charity shop when you're taking some goods in, helping someone, a neighbour with their shopping, giving somebody a lift to the hospital or an appointment, being there for a phone call, whether it's something like the Samaritans or just your elderly neighbour that like a quick chat. 9 is charitable. Being charitable should not deplete you. Again, give as you can. Knowing that you have helped another is humbling and uplifting. And sometimes it's good to volunteer or to do charity in an area where you feel stuck. So if you feel lonely, give your time. If you feel wealthy, give some money. If you have new insights that could help someone, give your knowledge. If you have excess or things you no longer need, then give to charity. And charity begins at home. Do not abandon yourself for the sake of others. Do not abandon you, your needs, or your dreams for the sake of another. They won't appreciate it. They say charity begins at home. You are your life source. So look after you and your body. When you don't know how to say no, your body will say no for you. And that's how we end up with chronic illness. The body is stressed. The energy is blocked. Did you know that 70% of the population is on some form of medication? Instead of medication, what if you could follow a 9 trait and use meditation? I'm guessing it's no coincidence that those 2 words are almost spelled the same. 9 is about having faith. When you feel your world is falling apart, when it is devastated and you feel like all is lost, you are being spiritually tested. Ask yourself, where is my faith right now? When you are stressed and lost faith, you may shut people out or make hasty decisions that will backfire and go wrong. Stop, breathe, stay calm, get grounded. Freaking out will not help you. Ask yourself, what is this challenge teaching you? If you can learn to see obstacles or challenges as spiritual growth, you'll say, bring them on. When you have these challenges, the universe is saying you are ready and nudging you to move on, create space for a new beginning. I mentioned faith, and people often think of religion. 9 is the number of the preacher. Religion is made by man, crafted to control and manipulate us, whereas faith connects us to source and all that is, was, and ever will be. Patience. We're in the 2 millennium. We're in the 2 decades. There are 2 twos in every year of this decade. Patience is really being pushed. Our lives are being bombarded with fast internet, fast food, fast cars, instant gratification, order online today and get it today or first thing tomorrow. So what happens when life says, whoa, stop, roadblock? We get frustrated when the Wi-Fi is down, there is a traffic jam, someone's not responding swiftly to an email, a letter or a text. We're waiting forever when we're calling customer services, the computer crashes and so on. All this is bringing forth an aspect of patience. You want patience. You are being given the ways to explore yourself through the challenges to find patience. Like with faith, patience is prompting you to find inner stillness. This roadblock may cause you to doubt yourself, eat up your confidence or your drive. Stop, breathe, become calm, get grounded. Freaking out will not help. What is the delay teaching you? I can remember things when I was delayed in my divorce procedures, and I would ask myself every time I was delayed, what have I missed? What must I include that I haven't got there? You'll be amazed at what comes up. And by the end of it, when it finally went through, much better outcome. When you rush, you don't always see all aspects. Being patient is one of the best gifts you can give yourself. Letting go. Another form of letting go is detachment. I've mentioned relationships. When we fight to hold on to something or someone, we harm it, possibly even suffocate it. Truly loving someone or something at some point may mean letting it go. What is meant to remain will remain, and it will not be caged. Attachment can be a strong vibration when we think about people, things, dreams, and memories. They can hold us back, and many times unnecessarily. You are not who you were in the past regarding the memories. Sometimes that dream perhaps wasn't yours or at that period of time and isn't the one. If it's the one, it will stay. Sometimes we have to let go of things. We've grown out of them. We've moved on. And the same goes with people, relationships. Ask yourself, who am I without this attachment? Or better still, ask yourself, if I didn't have this attachment, who would I be? What would I do moving forward? The Bible talks about false idols, celebrities, money, leaders. Attachments can be a form of a false idol. The 9 suggests letting go. You may have a number of reasons why you want to hold on to a fraught relationship, a job without fulfillment, or a lifestyle that is unsustainable. The universe knows when you're out of alignment, and it will nudge you for your own growth by forcing you to let go. It may remove a block from your life by death, breakup, or relocation regarding a relationship. Regarding your career, you could suddenly find yourself being made redundant, have a financial implication, or someone gets the promotion that was rightfully yours. Your lifestyle, you may receive a serious, life-changing health diagnosis. Find yourself in a lockdown 2019 onwards, or a falling out with your friendship circle that causes breakups or breakdowns. Whilst initially it may hurt, even devastate you, in time you'll look back and know it was what was needed to happen and may well be the best thing that had ever happened to you. I've already posed the question when I mentioned the lesson for the 7 of this month. Who am I really serving? And now I will add my spiritual purpose or my earthly attachments. People are falling away from our reality. We are being magnetically drawn to those who are in alignment with our soul's divine purpose. In the past, we were attracted to others to replay our traumas. Now we are being drawn to those who will elevate our lives. You become what you surround yourself with. Energies are contagious. Choose carefully, your environment will become you. What if you aren't sick, but you are being poisoned? Meditation will bring the answers. In life, there is only one thing we know for sure, that death will happen to all of us. People spend far too much time in the negative and worrying about the end that they don't truly live the days they have. The 9 wants you to let go, to have no regrets. Live every day, not as if it was your last, but as if it was your best day yet. Talking about attachments, it's so easy to get attached to things. We train not to lose things, to remember things, etc., etc. Look after things, but they can keep you stuck. I remember living in Hillside and I was struggling financially and I couldn't find a way to get the right mortgage or help that I needed. And I had gone down every avenue possible. Nobody could find me an answer. So one day I just said, I let go. I released the house. If it's meant to go, it's meant to go. And that night I went to a meditation and overheard a conversation about Airbnb. Well, lo and behold, I became an Airbnb host, absolutely loved hosting, and thought I would never have got there. I'd have probably lost the house had that not happened. However, can't get attached to Airbnb because the pandemic come along and you couldn't have people stay at your home. I needed to sell the house. The children had grown and flown the nest. I needed to be less attached to the children because they were less attached to me. I'm recalling this right now, not just because it's a 9 energy, but because I am being asked to let go of this house that I live in. I cannot fall into the same state I did when I was selling my previous house. I loved that house so much. I didn't really want to let it go. I didn't really want to leave. Months went by. Years went by. The house was on the market until I realised that it was me stopping it. I was holding on. And when the energy shifted and it was time to let go energetically with the numbers, I had no control. The universe made sure it went. Letting go of that house, I was in a personal year 9. I did not think a house would be better than that house. Don't ever believe there is nothing better out there than what you currently have. Don't stay in a relationship because you think it is better to be in that relationship because the next one will be worse. That's not true. Don't think that you live in the best house and there's no better. That's not true. Don't think you're in the best job if you really feel like it's not in alignment with you, because it's not. Let it go. I let it go and I found myself here. I live in the Garden of Eden. Open views, I see the sea. I have a garden full of bright, vibrant flowers. The air is fresh. The location is perfect for me to have rested and repaired. By the time I moved out of that other house, the holding on, I had literally caused my body so much stress, it seized up. I've spent the last 3 years living here, resting, repairing, healing, doing the inner work, the self-work and the shadow work, letting go. Yes, I started this 3 years in a personal year 9. 9 is the end of an epicycle. It's the end of a book. But 1, we're still letting go. And 2 really is about patience. This whole decade has been about patience. This millennium will be about patience. For me, a personal year 2, that's exactly what it was. But now I'm being shifted. Last month, I shared the snake that visited me. Knock, 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 nudge, nudge, nudge. Other things and people want to live here. Time to move on. Oh, really? I plead with the landlord. Then yesterday, a picture crashes off my wall. Like, is someone moving me out, telling me to go? I looked at the picture. It's a picture of Cornwall. That was initially where I wanted to move to. But it's a rural picture. Perhaps I'm going to move it inland. Rural. Who knows? But I do know it's time to let go and move. No matter how much I attempt to hold on, the universe is moving me forward. Most of us have too much. For me, I'm downsizing. I've already downsized to this house. In the lockdown, it wasn't so easy to pass things on. Lockdown has passed and now I'm able to start letting go of things. But here's a thought. Are you aware all the stuff in your room used to be money? All that money used to be time. And all that time used to be energy. Just sit with that for a moment. When you change the way you look at things, you change your behavior around them. When you realize you can pass it on to someone else, you grasp the 9 energy. You're giving, you're generous, you're charitable, you're letting go, you're releasing, you're concluding. All the 9 energy. Makes sense, really, when you think about what people spend on things. When people value things more than people, at some point, we will have to do our biggest letting go, and that's the one of life. So gradually learn to let go, so that by the time you get your end days, your children are not clearing out hordes of stuff. I say this because we've lost various members of the family over this last year or so, and clearing out and dealing with it is an absolute headache. Be mindful. Be mindful of everyone, including yourself. 9 is about humility. It is often seen as a sign of weakness. but it's actually a sign of spiritual strength. Know your own worth. This will help you form boundaries for you and let others know where you stand. It is in humility that we do not need external validation or an ego stroke. Can you be humble and remain strong? Can you be authentic and with integrity when things are crashing around you? Can you be successful without boasting? Can you give without expecting something in return? When climbing the ladder of success, will you step on people on the way up or bring them up with you? Forgiveness. Do you replay wrongs in your mind, hold on to grudges or carry anger? All low vibrations. Forgiveness is not about the other person or condoning their hurtful actions. Forgiveness is about freeing you. You cannot change the past or someone else, and there is no benefit to visualizing disempowering stories of the future, for the future has not happened. But what you can do today is forgive in order to make tomorrow a better place, a better day. Why the need to forgive? Spiritual growth. 9 is the number of transformation. Forgiveness is one of life's greatest challenges. I know, so is patience and detachment. And most of the lessons of the 9. You have every right to hold on to hurt, pain, deceit, mistrust and resentment. By choosing to let go, you lighten your load, reduce the burden and unlock the door that leads to the pathway of peace and spiritual growth. Transformation releases the old and sheds light on new possibilities. The divergence has begun. You are either in transformation or in transformation. All other timelines have collapsed. Just saying I forgive is not enough. Feel the forgiveness. If at first it is difficult to forgive another, start by forgiving yourself. I forgive myself for holding on to it. I forgive myself for carrying it. I allow myself to cut it off and grow. Forgive yourself for not doing the research, for falling for the same type of charlatan. Forgive yourself for not trusting your intuition. Forgive yourself for getting stuck in your ego mind, wanting to be right, etc. By forgiving yourself, you are releasing all of those chains that are pulling you down. Even that may feel hard or a challenge. So start by forgiving yourself, being unable to forgive. And then ask, how much lighter will I feel if I could forgive? Remember, you're not condoning them. Find the lesson, and it is so much easier to forgive because you've gained the lesson, the insight. You won't repeat this. Date the same person. Get yourself stuck in the same situation. Be scammed or conned again. After a while, check in. Ask yourself, how at ease do I feel when the memory no longer surfaces or triggers me? Forgiveness is liberating. It allows you to detach blame and anger, for both of these are very draining. Forgiveness cleanses emotional wounds. This is not about condoning poor action, but seeking inner peace to the self. While 7 has asked you to go in and ask better questions, 9 is asking you to transform from the insights you've got by asking better questions. When you can remain at peace, when everything around you is chaotic, then you have truly transformed. Seek out the lesson, and forgiveness is superseded by gratitude and growth. And this, my beautiful souls, takes us back to the start when I mentioned gratitude. You can take every failure, and if you dig deep and find the lesson, it no longer is a failure, but a success. And not just a material success, but a spiritual one, a conscious one. And the higher you vibrate, the better your world becomes. Gratitude is uplifting. When in gratitude, you cannot be sad or disempowered. You are abundant, elevated, and empowered. And in the words of David Icke, you are infinite awareness. All that is, has been, and ever can be. I mentioned 9 is about the environment, using the moon and the sun. The moon taught me it's okay to go through phases. And the sun taught me no matter how many times I go down, I'll keep rising. 7 asks who you are, and 9 suggests you remember who you are. The church knows who you are. You do not need to go into a building to connect to source. The church layout is a replica of the body. The body is the temple that houses your soul. I haven't yet given you the lesson for 7 and 9. The lesson is to recognize the interconnectedness of everything. As David Icke says, join the dots. Realize you are the common link to everything, and your external world is a reflection of your internal world. 7 has asked you to reflect and go within. 9 is asking you to release ego behaviors and transform. In the video I created in 2018, I mentioned the vibration was in 11, the number of magical manifestation. If you think the world is all doom and gloom right now, and whilst I accept it's not easy, I want to share that what I believe the majority wished for in that manifestation is actually happening. If we go back to every Miss World, the question at the end was, what do you want? And it's world peace. And I generally believe that the majority want world peace and unity. We only need to look at the current situation, because whilst Ukraine, Russia is being forgotten, we now have Hamas, Palestine, Gaza, and Israel. People do not want to be divided. People are beginning to see that war is not for anything other than the profit for those that make the weapons. Governments send ammunition to these countries when they could send food and healing. And yet they call on us to be charitable, put our hands in our pocket when inflation and everything is high, to do what we would prefer our taxes to do. The old regime is crumbling in preparation for a new way of being, consciousness. We are all consciousness, a soul experiencing the human body. We are infinite awareness, all that is, was, and ever can be. You are sovereign. Know this, own this, as we move into 2024. I wish you an amazing healing month of release, letting go, and transformation. If you've liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do, and push that bell for notification. And share. Anyone that is struggling, share my video. Let them understand the benefits of gratitude, forgiveness, releasing, letting go, and true transformation. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.